All right, and here we are into our first game of the evening. We have on the left-hand side Pandessl00ts versus Ready Button on the right. So we are actually going into Brax's Holdup. This will be our first match of the evening. I do not think they're keeping track, but we are going to do that for fun. I am your caster for the evening, Bahamut, and let's see what we're going to get up to in this Brax's Holdout first match. Genji being hovered for ban here, and that's not surprising. I was actually watching through HGC today, and it's and still to this, like, now he's just so difficult to deal with. There are, you can beat him obviously, but at the same time it's just, why deal with it? Like, why deal with that pressure, that poke, it's just so annoying to deal with. So they're gonna go ahead, at least hover him currently for this ban phase. Actually, they're looking to ban out the Malthael. With the first pick, they're actually going to try and ban out the Malthael so that it forces Pandessl00ts to ban out the Genji. And maybe they can then pick up maybe Stukov or Uther or Stitches, or, I mean, there's a lot of... I've seen some first picks lately, and so I'm curious to see what's going to be coming. A couple people have first pick Stitches, and they made it work. Like, they made it first pick worthy, so they built an entire comp around it. So of course, but at this point, Pandessl00ts, they're going to be trying to figure out what they're going to be banning here. At this point, they're going to go ahead and ban the Genji. So with that, we are going to be seeing a first pick on the side of Ready Button, and I'm wondering what they're going to go ahead and get here. If they're going to try and run that Stukov, or if they have something specific for this map. I've seen, I think I was casting, when I was casting last night, I saw this combination of, like, Arthas, Stukov, Sonya, and Greymane, and it was like a root from Arthas. Well, first off, there's the silence from Stukov, then there's the root from Arthas, the curse bullet from Greymane, and then the follow-up leap from Sonya. So it's just like stun into silence, so you can't leave, you take the curse bullet damage. If you're a healer, you can't heal yourself. If you're a tank, you have no way of... Okay, and he is the... Just want to point this out. Oh, it's not the... Excuse me, it's not the red one. It's not the Bison skin, so it's the wrong skin, but it's kind of close. So Stukov will be picked up here, and I'm curious to see how they're going to be doing some kind of combo with that. I had tested something out with, like, Leoric, Tyrande, and Stukov, where we did the Entomb with the Silence and the Starfall, and they just... You can't go anywhere. You can't leave. If you haven't escaped your silence, you can't do anything. So it's definitely... He's really pairing with a lot of heroes. The more and more I see him in play, it's just like he pairs with... It seemingly pairs with almost any comp. But, it's only the 4th or 5th day that he's actually been live, so that's just me being extremely excited that I'm getting to cast games with him. So Pandessl00ts, they're going to be looking to pick up 2 heroes here with their first round pick. And I would not be surprised to see something like an Uther Anub'arak or an Uther Stitches. That's a pretty common combination that you see. But we're actually going to see Ariel Kael'thas, so I should shut up because I don't know what they're going to pick. Ariel Kael'thas, that's actually... Oh no. I think it's a Cho'Gall comp. We'll see. We'll see in the next ban phase. Okay, so with the Stukov, they're going to be wanting to pair something with this. And as I was saying earlier, the Curse Bullet from Greymane is extremely strong. Just the chunking that it does to any tank, even like it's just... I think it's like 40% of someone's health is just gone. So, I mean, you have an Anub'arak, you can take him down to half health. And then you have the follow-up damage and... Okay, so we are going to see a Anub'arak here. And I'm honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Greymane, because Greymane's just a strong solo laner at this point. You can just take him, and then you can just run a 4-man and bottom. Gul'dan's actually going to be picked up, and that's something that I overlooked myself. I didn't talk about any of the mages that work well on this map. Jaina and Gul'dan work very well on this map. Gul'dan, in my opinion, works way better. The Fel Flame build that you can do, and you can just, like, chuck Fel Flames out every, like, almost second, it seems. You can clear waves so quickly, and the corruption that he does as well. I mean, corruption into the backline is extremely strong. So that's a really strong pickup, but I don't know. Just literally, I don't know from not having seen enough games. I don't know if Stukov can provide the healing that Gul'dan might need. I don't know. I feel like they're going to pick up a Tassadar here with that. But we are into our second ban phase here. I would not be surprised to see Pandessl00ts to ban out something that has a giant killer. Like, Malthael's already banned out, so they don't have to worry about that. But if I was gonna say they could ban out the Tychus, but that kind of shows that they're going Cho'Gall. So the Dahak is gonna be banned out here, and he is also viable against that comp as well, because at 13 he does have the talent to lower the armor of with his Darkswarm, and that is definitely something that is gonna cripple a Cho'Gall. So utilizing that ban, it doesn't show where they're going. I'm just like fully set that they're gonna go into this Cho'Gall comp. Like, that's what I think that they're gonna take. Because it's just the Kael'thas Ariel. No, okay, so they won't. Never mind. I got so excited. Maybe if it was anyone else besides Kael'thas, it would work a little bit better. But all right, so they're gonna go ahead and pick up the Murden here, which he's a strong tank. He's just not very meta at this point, but he's still he's a great tank to have in your team. A Greymane would be a really good pickup here, in my opinion, because of the fact that they don't have anyone to dive and burst, and they definitely need that to get onto that backline Gul'dan and Stukov, because you know for a fact that Stukov, at least all the Stukov I've been seeing, they put their positive pustule on a team member. They maybe get the negative out if they have it. Ooh, they're actually gonna go with the Alarak here. That's a really good pickup. The Deadly Charge into the backline is even better, and the Telekinesis to knock Stukov out of his... I just realized that everyone on Pandessl00ts has a way to stop Stukov from channeling his silence. So this is extremely strong, because I'm willing to put money on this. That Murden is going to take the piercing talent with his Stormbolt, so that way he can pierce through the enemy team into that backline Stukov and knock him out of the silence, so that way their team can engage fully onto ready button. And then the Alarak has the Telekinesis, Ariel has the Whip, Kael'thas has the Whirlwind, so there's so many things to just kind of displace and move the team around. Like, Pandessl00ts literally have so much control on their side. The Anub'arak, yes, it has the stun. You have the 2 stuns. Okay. Alright. So there's the Greymane Uther. And that's terrifying, because I was wondering what's going to be healing up that Gul'dan, and it's going to be the Uther. And the one thing that you really have to worry for at this point, you can go Divine Storm, you can go Divine Shield, it's whatever you want to take. But a Divine Shield on a Greymane diving into your backline Kael'thas is going to be something that they're going to have to deal with on the side of Pandessl00ts. They do have the Telekinesis to, move him away, protect the Kael'thas, the Murden, who has the piercing, or not the piercing bolt, the Thunder? It's not Thunderbolt. But he has his Sledgehammer he can throw that will stun them as well, and Ariel has the Whip that can displace them. So the dive into the backline is there on the side of Ready Button, and they do have a lot of follow-up damage from the Gul'dan. But I think that there's just a lot of control on the side of Pandessl00ts, and they're definitely going to be... I think they're going to be picking up a Bruiser here at this point. I'm thinking maybe Artanis or...
I hear the call of
what?
the wild.
Okay. They're going to go ahead and pick up Misha here. Rexxar is not the correct name. So they're going to go ahead and pick up Misha here and swap out some skins, get their players on the correct hero. Rexxar is always overlooked. Like, I always forget to consider him as someone to just be like, yeah, he's definitely going to be the guy who can literally solo lane so well. Like, because I was just like, they got Alarak. Alarak's their solo laner. What are they going to pick up that's going to 4-man with everyone else in bottom? Okay, and we are going into our first game of the evening with Pandessl00ts on the left. We have Rexpa on Kael'thas, Titans King on Murden, Veteran Wings on Alarak, Hedgie on Rexxar, and Zelchio on Ariel. And then on the right-hand side, we have Ready Button with Varen on Uther, Denweb... Oh, I should have read these beforehand. on Anubarak, and Stormy13 on Gul'dan, Ender on Stukov, and Copious Girth. Last night I said that the floor is lava is the best name ever. Copious Girth is just... Okay, alright, that's a great name. He's on Greymane. Let's go back to this Anubarak, though. I don't know. Please, someone in Twitch chat, please help me with this one. I'm... Denaweb? Denaweb is what I want to go with. But nonetheless, we are going into the first game here on Braxis Holdout.
Facility powering up.
We're about to begin.
Alrighty. So we are going to be seeing the Nubarian armor from the Anubarak. Stukov looks like he will be going the Growing Infestation. This is a lot of... I've seen this almost in any game I've played against Stukov. This seems to be the most common pickup at this point. Looks like Alarak will be going for his Extended Lightning. Kael'thas is not going to be going Convection. He's going to be going Mana Addict. And on this map, it works really well because of the fact that if you are going for those globes in the bottom over here, and you're also clearing up the minion wave, you're definitely going to be having you're going to be having a easy time completing that quest. But here we go. In the top lane, we have the Rexxar versus the Greymane, and in bottom, we are going to have the 4-man of the Kael'thas, Alarak, Ariel, and the Murden, who... Actually, excuse me, he's trying to flank on that Greymane. Hold on. Nothing's... Okay. We actually have a pause here really quick. We're just going to go to a break screen. All right. I mute the music. I just don't like to show the map just in case the enemy team is somehow trying to like stream snipe. I don't want to show any sort of map positioning or anything. I was watching a bunch of other streams, and that's one of the common things I saw. But it looks like everyone is throwing up the R's. We are going back in here. And there we go. We are back into the game. So in this top lane, I was going to say that there is this Murden who looked like he was coming up for that flank, but it's not going to be happening. In bottom, though, we are going to be having this 4-man, which is going to be the majority of what we'll be watching. I'll keep an eye on Greymane's health and Rexxar's health to see if anyone's going to be falling up the top. Try and catch that kill or death. But in this bottom lane, it looks like we are just going to be having everyone playing extremely safe here. They're just going to be trying to lane up, work towards their 4s before the first beacon phase. And the first beacon phase, it's not the strongest. We're actually going to be seeing a Murden rotation here. There is a Gul'dan, so much damage. Murden will get the stun onto Copious Girth, but he will be getting away. And it looks like everyone in bottom on Pandessl00ts will be playing safe here behind the gate. They are getting pushed in a little bit here by Ready Button, but that stun's going to slow them down just a little bit. But they're going to take a couple shots out of those towers, and it looks like Ready Button's just going to go ahead and make some rotations. Position up for this first beacon phase. Alarak does get the telekinesis onto the Stukov. And we are going to be having them just slide back a little bit here, playing by their gate. We are going to be seeing in bottom, trying to get those regeneration globes for the Kael'thas. And look to see Ready Button trying to go ahead and deny that as best as they can. Maybe they'll be trying to push them away from some of the regen globes, because if you can prevent Kael'thas from finishing his Mana Addict, it obviously hinders him throughout the game. So that's definitely going to be something that they're going to have to worry about on both sides. The bottom beacon will be held by Pandessl00ts, and in top it looks like Rexxar will be getting that. There is a stun and a body block onto the Anubarak. We are going to be having our Ariel being bodied away. He's very low, but at the same time the healing from Stukov is spreading to a lot of the teammates. There is a huge Pyro Bomb onto two of the members. The Gul'dan and the Anubarak are very low. The Nubarian armor coming in and saving the Anubarak there. Gul'dan is going to have to go back, tap well, or at least get healing from his Uther. And that will be the bottom point captured by Pandessl00ts. Top is being held by them as well. Looks like Greymane is starting to fall a little bit here. Let's just take a quick peek up in top. Nisha is just pushing him back to this gate. We are going to be having Anubarak trying to go ahead and push Titan's King out of this, but Murden is going to be just locking him down, and that is going to be the first kill of the game. Excuse me, that's not going to be the first kill of the game. Ariel was the first kill, but that will be the first kill on the side of Pandessl00ts. This is going to be a very, very small Zerg wave on the bottom, And in top lane, we are going to have the 100% Zerg wave going up against just this lonely Greymane. We are going to see the Gul'dan rotating up, as I was talking about in draft. He has extremely good wave clear on this map, so he's going to be the priority person on these Zerg waves. Rexar's just going to go ahead and stand in the bush and let Misha do all the work because, well, it should be called Misha, not Rexar. We are going to see the telekinesis onto the Anub'arak. There is the pyro bomb, or excuse me, the chain bomb. We'll just be... They're kind of whittling down that Nubarian armor, which is extremely useful. And if he doesn't have that, there is the whip from the Ariel into the gate. There is the follow-up from Kael'thas, but there will not be anything to kill the Anub'arak. Definitely, though, using Kael'thas' Fel Flame for the chain bomb, because it instantly gives you back another one, you can burn through the Nubarian armor against Anub'arak, so then when you actually do try and combo him with some of these abilities, he won't be able to use his shielding to deflect it, but Kael'thas is going to be falling really low here. He will get hit by that Fel Flame, and it will be killing him. We're going to see a retreat from the 3 members of Pandessl00ts. The silence does come out. Titans King is trying to slow this team down, zone them away a little bit. He's going to try and kite them up and away from the Ariel, but it looks like she will be getting body blocked by the Anub'arak. So at this point, we're going to have good zoning from the Stukov here, cleaning up that mini wave, helping his push into this gate. And they're going to go ahead and clear this up because... Well, actually, I was going to say they would want to try and push in top. You'd think you'd switch lanes, but I guess not. Because the next... Ooh, that was a double whirlwind on 2 of the members of Ready Button. So definitely that right away they were just like, you know what, we don't want to deal with that. Okay, bye. So while we have these rotations between... Oh, excuse me, this Gul'dan is getting so low, but the healing from Uther and the Stukov will be way too much. Just checking into some of these talents, looks like Alarak already finished his level 1, halfway through his level 4. Kael'thas is about halfway through his level 1. And looks like Gul'dan's done with his, and Uther is close to being... he's halfway. And there is the stun from Titans King onto the Gul'dan, but there is the healing from the Uther and the Stukov. They will be getting the counter kill onto the Murden. Actually, they will be getting a kill onto Murden. And they will have to be zoned away at this point with that silence, and that is crippling them in bottom lane at this point. They want to... I see them that they have these plays to go in on specific heroes, but then Stukov literally puts down the silence, and they can't get into the team fight because they don't want to rotate through the silence and not have any way of dealing damage on the encroachment into that Anub'arak. So the Stukov zoning is extremely powerful at this point, especially with that level 1 upgrade for the increased zone for it. We are going to be having Murden coming back in here. Anub'arak is trying to body block as best as he can against the Kael'thas, but there's the silence and the stun onto him. He will be falling a little bit low here, but against this Stukov Uther healing, it is extremely difficult to drop the tank. There is the cleanse onto him to get him out of that. Telekinesis from the Alarak. He's the negative pustule on him, so he will be getting slowed. There is the whip from the Ariel onto the Gul'dan. This Gul'dan is falling slow, but he will be able to drain the health of Murden, and there is the 2-man stun onto the Ariel and the Murden here. Titans King will be able to get out of this, and we are going to be seeing the bottom control point still held by Ready Button. Let's just quickly check into top. It looks like Misha's just been controlling this lane as she always does. So we're just going to go right back down here into another little skirmish that we're having. Stukov is using his creepy hand again just to zone this Kael'thas away. And honestly, the silence from Stukov is so crippling to the Kael'thas that I don't think he can get enough damage into the enemy team. They just got to get that Stukov the stun, and the Fel Flame comes through the gate and it gets him. There is a potential for the counter pick onto the low mana Uther. The Horrify actually does push the Alarak out of position. There is the Cocoon, and this is Tens on the side of Ready Button. They are going to be killing the Alarak. Titans King will be stunned here. There is Ariel, who will be able to save herself, I believe. She gets the counter. She gets a whip just to kind of zone them back a little bit here. So only Alarak will be falling. And, well, I think actually Kael'thas as well. I'm not sure. So much happened in that little fight, I already forgot. Let's just check in with some of these talents again. Uther's almost done with his level 1. Greymane's just starting through his level 7. But we are going to have Murden engaging here up against this Gul'dan and the Uther. The control point will be going over in top to Ready Button, so they will be channeling the Zerg Wave Murden is really far in, trying to get damage onto this Uther, peel him away. Gul'dan is... Okay, I was going to say, he's kind of peeling himself from his own team. Murden does get into that backline. That Uther is falling really low. He gets the whirlwind onto him. There is the D-shield on him just to save himself, but that is a 90-second cooldown. There is no healing onto the Gul'dan, but he gets the self-healing, and there's the stun to knock him out. The counter-strike from the Alarak is there just to save him from the Anub'arak. There will be a chase onto him. Look to see the telekinesis. Where's the Stormbolt? There is... Oh, there's so much follow-up damage. And that is going to be a counter... Some counter kills on the side of Pandessl00ts, looking like they're starting to come alive in this bottom lane. In top, Misha's just been pushing in so hard. But I think finally they got that Uther so low that he couldn't heal, he couldn't do anything useful for the team, and at that point they had the ability, you know, the D-shield was gone, the cleanse was burned, so it was multiple engagements to get to that point, but extremely well done by Pandessl00ts to go ahead and just capitalize on that. There is the whip and the stun, and that is just the control. Hey, he got the negative pustule onto them, though. And they will be pushing up this bottom wave as much as they can because the Zerg wave is pushing bottom. So if they can clear this out, it's going to be pushing a keep wall rather than pushing just a bottom lane fort. Stun from Alarak, because I believe he's working on... No, he already finished that. That is going to be the top channeled by Misha. So we are going to be having a positive charge on the side of Pandessl00ts, but at the same time, they still need to worry about in their top lane. Rexxar is coming down. There actually is going to be a Horrify out from Gul'dan, trying to get them off this point just to save some time, but it's not going to be working out. Alarak, excuse me, Anub'arak is all by himself. The Cocoon is there onto the Kael'thas to try and zone away some of that mage damage. The Whirlwind is there. It's onto the Uther. They do get the follow-up telekinesis from the Alarak onto him. Stukov pushes away the Murden. He does mount up, trying to come right back into this fight. They're going to try and burn down this fort right away. Maybe even get a kill. Titan's King does dive in onto this backline. Well, it's not so backline anymore. The telekinesis is out. They get the stun, and that is 2 kills, and they are going to be death marching onto this keep wall. With their Gul'dan dead here, I'm a little bit worried because of the fact that the Zerg wave is still so powerful. They're going to go ahead on the side of Pandessl00ts and say, you know what, our fort's going to go ahead and take care of that Zerg wave. And with this kill onto Greymane, they are going to be definitely confirming a keep here. Gul'dan doesn't come up for another 6 seconds. They get the kill onto the Anub'arak, and this game is starting to snowball in the favor of Pandessl00ts. And are they going to start just a core march? They're not extremely high on mana, and well, mostly mana. But maybe if they get a couple counter picks here, they are starting to get onto the Stukov. They do get the lockdown onto him. And this team just came alive in this one Zerg wave. They just decimated the ready button. There is the Horrify from the Gul'dan to zone them a little bit away from the core. It is going to help. The Curse Bullet does come out. They are trying to get as much damage out to the enemy team, but Counter-Strike is there from the Alarak. Greymane is so low he has to tap well, and this is going to be GG's. The first game going over to Pandessl00ts. All right, and we are already back into our second game, and I actually just realized that I did not update the scores. I mean, they don't really matter, but I like to keep track of these things. It's fun for me. Let me just update that in my other scene. Okay, cool. So here we go into Dragonshire, a map that wasn't really in the rotation so much. It's really come back this season of HGC. I could be wrong and just completely just misremembering all of last season, but I'm pretty sure it's back this season. So there's a lot of priority on Chen at this point for the top lane. He's extremely strong as a solo laner, and he kind of lives forever. So I wonder if there is going to be a prioritization on him as a tank, or I guess a bruiser. Usually you see them go Donkey Kong build. So, but nonetheless, Malthael, I was just about to say, Malthael's being banned out here, and I was just about to talk about the fact that Malthael does percentile damage. So he's a strong ban because of the fact that if you want to get the Dragon Knight as much as possible, which is always what you want to do in this game, if you're going ahead and capping that Dragon Knight, you're gonna want to have a way to like push that up as best as possible. So taking away heroes that do percentile damage are a priority on this map, in my opinion. because of the fact that if you get the Dragonite, he can just be slaughtered by this Malthael who's just doing tons and tons and tons of just damage over time and percentile damage because it's the Dragonite. So late game with the scaling and everything, yeah, it does a lot of damage itself, but if it has a scaled health, that scaling will be, it's percentile. Said that enough. But nonetheless, we are going to be having Ariel hovered here. And I don't think, I don't know, because I know, like, in my level of play, which isn't, like, the highest tier or anything, Cho'Gall is viable on this map. And so I wonder if if they banned out the Ariel for the fear of the Cho'Gall. And the fact that they ran it last time, it worked for them, so why not ban out the healer they just used to try and force them onto something else? And that potentially gives them the Stukov that they might want again, or if they just want the Uther, they're going to go ahead and pick up this Genji, so I don't think I've ever actually seen... Oh, by the way, rude of me, I didn't introduce the teams at all. Pandessl00ts is on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we actually have Ready Button. So... I'm just thinking back, like I had like a panic thought. I was just like, wait, were they on the left or right? And I loaded in and they were already all on the left. Okay, so Pandessl00ts are on the left-hand side and we have Ready Button on the right-hand side. So the Genji's picked up for Pandessl00ts. I talked about it a little bit in last draft, how strong he is as just someone who can just pick off heroes that are alone. The deflection that he has, the stickiness that there is on Genji, as well as even if he does dive onto a hero, he has an out to the point where, if you start to chase him and you're like, I'm going to get this Genji, he hops over a wall and you're like, well, I can't chase this Genji and I just wasted time. Dahaka is going to be picked up here, though, for Ready Button with the Uther as well. So a strong global from the Dahaka. And the Uther is just overall he's from my understanding, he's just top tier healer, so everyone just kind of, there's the prioritization on him. And he's in a very good spot, especially with where we kind of sit with globals. It seems that Dahaka seems to be like the if we're talking global wise, he seems to be like the top tier for global, because the fact of not only does he provide push and he has very good wave clear, but he also has technically 3 health bars. If you have 50 essence and you drop pretty low, I believe you can fill up almost full with that. And then post 10, if you have adaptation, that's another basically full health bar. So the only thing that obviously you want to utilize is either, dropping that essence, and that way you can get healed up and then come back into the fight, and then you can use the adaptation when you burrow. But we're actually going to be having Falstad and Li Ming picked up here. And the poke from Li Ming is really, really good. I would expect to see her in the bottom lane poking into some of those towers, trying to work those down so that way they can kind of push into that well. Because the one thing that I've noticed on this map, there's a priority on taking out the well. Because if you take out the well, it seems to become extremely strong and easy, obviously, to get those shrines, because someone has to rotate further away to get health or mana. So if you're low, you have to hearth or go all the way back to your keep, which at that point you might as well hearth because you just get full. So Li Ming is really, really good on this map, and Falstad is also, I was just talking about like tiers of globals. Falstad's in this weird place where I think he's actually extremely strong, but it's just nobody plays him because it's like Dahaka or nothing, Because at the same time, like there's other assassins who they don't have a global, but they're extremely strong at this point, like Genji or our Malthaels. So we are actually going to be having Stukov. I'm not even talking about like the current picks and bans. I'm just talking about comps at this point. All right, so Stukov will be banned out here by Ready Button, and that's a strong ban because of the fact that they want to limit that healer pool, and since they didn't pick it up themselves and they don't plan on it, obviously, they're going to ban it out so that way that Pandessl00ts cannot have Stukov. Now, on the side of Ready Button, they currently don't really have a main tank, and they don't have any dive damage or range damage. So, like, they don't have a ranged assassin or a melee assassin. So, if they're not going to pick it up themselves, which I don't expect them to, I would think the Greymane would be a ban here, but I'm also looking over at the comp of Pandessl00ts, and it's like, you don't... I mean, they're all ranged-ish. Like, Genji is melee with his ultimate, but he's still kind of ranged. I definitely think that they're going to want to limit... Okay. I was going to say they want to limit the tank pool because of the fact that they don't have a main tank that pairs well with the Dahaka, and the ban that they did, the Varian ban actually pairs really well with the Dahaka, the slows into the tongue, as well as the taunt and the lock. So you'd have the tongue from Dahaka, you'd have the stun from Uther, Divine Storm from Uther if he goes into it. You could then have the taunt from the Varian. So there's a lot. They're denying that huge lockdown potential up against Ready Button. But at the same time, I'm wondering what they're going to be rolling this Dahaka Uther with. The Greymane is still open, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him. We talked about as we were loading in a little bit earlier, earlier in the draft, as well as the fact that Chen is also a viable pick. And Stitches is still open too. I mean, there's a lot of tanks that they can easily take. Stitches actually works pretty well here. But Anub'arak and Vala are going to be picked up against Pandessl00ts, and Vala is going to be rotating through all those skins just to show off how much they play Vala. So we are going to be having our last two picks from Pandessl00ts. So they have the Global Falstead, they have the range damage Li Ming, they have the closer, which is Genji. Could they go like Stitches and then hook into Gust so you can literally like hook the Uther, gust the team away? Arthas will be picked up here. I just feel like they're going to run the Stitches too. Because the Slam build, welcome to the Slam, welcome to the Jam. It's all I can think that it is. Because I don't think they're going to pick up... Oh, well, I'm talking about all these, like... I'm talking about all these other tanks. They need a healer. Why am I not talking about a healer? Rhaegar. Okay. Duh. Come on now. That was completely my bad. I was just enamored. I was just like, well, they have to be picking up the Stitches too because he's open, and it seems like it would work well with their comp. Just to pull the Uther out of position, then just completely... Well, hook into Gust, that wouldn't actually work at all. It's a horrible comp. This is what you get from silver, people. All right, so then we're going to have our last pick for Ready Button. So they have their off-tank, main damage dealer, range damage dealer, and Uther. I don't see why they wouldn't take Greymane. The dive onto the Li Ming might be pretty helpful, as well as the Falstead. I'm not sure. Sonya's going to be picked up here, so they're going to have another strong solo laner. They've got a lot of... That's a lot on the Vala, in my opinion. Like, Vala is very good and can, deal the damage, but I don't know if the Sonya is extremely strong here because you have a strong solo laner. I just feel like Greymane might have worked a little bit better. I'm not sure. Well, we'll see in this match. On the left-hand side, though, we have Pandessl00ts. And we have Rexpa on Li Ming, Titan's King on Arthas, Veteran Wings on Genji, Heji on Falstead, and Zalchio on Rhaegar. On the right-hand side, we have Ready Button with Vernon on Sonya, Copious Girth on Dahaka, Deneb on Anub'arak, Stormy 13? I think Stormy 13 on Vala, and Ender on Uther. So we talked about Li Ming being in bottom. Genji will probably be in mid, rotating around.
Heroes, prepare for combat.
There we go. Okay, cool. I'm on my buttons. I'm trying to think of how the lane matchups are going to go. And I'm also wondering if Falstead's going to take... Okay, so he took auto attack build. I like mage build, but I think it's just because I like mage build because it's fun.
Battle commencing in 10 seconds.
Li Ming is going to go hunger for power. Sonya went
5,
block,
4,
which will be
3,
helpful against the
2,
Genji.
1. Unleash
Dahaka
the
went
dragon's
for
wrath.
the NASCAR build, if I'm correct, enhanced agility. So we are going into this. It seems like it's going to be standard picks. We're going to have an engagement already from the Sonya, the tongue from the Dahaka onto the Arthas, and it looks like he is going to be getting melted here right away. There's going to be a first kill for Ready Button. We're going to have the Dahaka burrowing into top lane at this point. We're going to have the Falstad rotating into him as well. That looks like it's going to be our top lane matchup. In mid, we are going to be having the Rhaegar, Genji, and... Excuse me, and Li Ming, but we do have to wait for the Arthas to rotate as well. So look to see these lane matchups change a little bit here. And I'm wondering if they're going to do a 4-man rotation. I don't know if that's a thing on this map. Because it seems like the rotation isn't that far, but at the same time it seems like it wouldn't work out too well. Rhaegar is going to be caught out here by the Sonya. He will be finding himself quickly going into mid. It does not look like we are going to be having too bad of a matchup against this. Actually, between the Li Ming and the Genji, they are starting to melt this Anub'arak. Dahaka will be rotating up into that. Nope, it looks like he's going to be pushing back to the members here. I don't know if Arthas... Genji just... I peered down here and it looked like Genji headshot the Sonya because of the way she fell onto the ground. So Sonya will be falling here. It's going to be even on kills for both teams. Here we have Titan King in this bush trying to hide. Don't tell the Vala though. She doesn't know. He is going to go ahead and demount. Oh, nope. The Li Ming will go ahead and demount her. The root misses, and it looks like there was a follow up there from the Genji and Li Ming, but it was not. There was no connection there. We're going to be having... I'm going to jump down to bottom. In bottom lane, we are going to be having this Rhaegar, who is going to be going up against this Uther, the healer battle of the century, but he jukes them away, trying to go towards the other entry point, and Rhaegar's going to be coming in. Genji should be getting the kill here. He does. Anub'arak does go in for the burrow, and he does collapse onto the Li Ming, excuse me. The Rhaegar will be able to get out here safely, and that is going to be the Uther finally dying, and Anub'arak is going to fall here as well. So that is going to be bottom, held by Pandessl00ts, and top is going to be... It's currently held by Ready Button, but there is this collapse onto the Sonya, and she's going to proc this bot camp, excuse me, this easy camp, and it's going to go ahead and actually, they're going to take it and say, we'll push this onto your mid fort while we go ahead and try and channel this Dragon Knight. But actually, I think they have this right now, so we're going to have this small skirmish here between Hedgie and Copious Girth. It looks like they're just going to go ahead and lane up a little bit more, just work on getting stacks each. Dahaka needs 50 stacks for his agility, and at the same time, the Falstad needs to get his AA build going, so he needs to kill minions for that one. Excuse me. Alright. So, with the zoning that we have currently from the Genji, Li Ming, and Rhaegar in bottom, this Anub'arak really can't do much unless someone rotates into him. That there is this posturing from the Uther and the Vala. Does not look like they're going to be go ahead and taking that. There is the stun onto Anub'arak from the Arthas. The channel is there. Sonya is in mid, though, to defend it, but Dahaka will be capping that top point. We're going to be staying in bottom, though, because this is where the event is. The Vala is getting collapsed upon, and at this point, that is all of their damage pretty much gone. Sonya does do damage, but at the same time, it's not like you're going to get the same amount out of a Sonya from a Vala. Or out of a... You know what I mean. So they're going to go ahead and this is what we were talking about in draft. They're going to go ahead and take out this well as quickly as they can. And what this does is it provides them an extremely good case to... Oh, it just needs a magic missile. There we go. Alright, so what this does is it gives them the opportunity on the side of Pandessl00ts to really hold bottom lane. And you can see how aggressive they're pushing up because the fact that, if I can get it in map here, they have their well over here. And, sorry. They have their well over here in their bottom wave, and that's definitely going to be a useful tool that they have so they can stay in the lane and just cap the Dragon Knight point. And if, you know, oh, we need mana, so they just hit their well and they can come right back into the fight rather than ready button, they definitely need to rotate all the way back, and that's a reset once again onto the Vala, and the Sonya are going to be falling here. Looks like still in top though. Dahaka is going to be going up against the Falstead, and I just want to point out that this is the second game Hedgie's had to just literally sit in top lane. So we're going to be having this bottom being pushed in just a wee bit more. Anub'arak is going to be soaking this mid wave, and there's currently a 2-level difference. While we're going to be having some of these rotations and these wave clearing from the enemy teams, let's take a quick peek into some of these talents. It looks like Falstead's about halfway through his questing talent, a third of the way through his auto attack talent. Looks like Arthur's about halfway through all of his. Uther's halfway. Dahaka's got a little bit more to go. I think it's out of 9 total. Genji actually just finished, I believe, his level 4 talent for the first time. There is the hammering from the Falstead onto the Dahaka, but he will be able to get to that well. They're going to go ahead and capture this, but if you... Uther didn't channel it quick enough. Arthas is there to provide the block as well. And just to note really quick, Rhaegar is getting this camp over here in top left. So this hard camp will be pushing up. Genji does almost dash behind the gate. They're very, very, very close. Sonya will be in bottom. She's going to be going ahead and clearing up that and pushing up as best as she can. In mid, looks like Arthas is going to be getting bullied by his gates from this Vala. And this top push is extremely strong, and it looks like they're doing exactly the same thing in bottom. They're saying, you know what, mid's important, but not as important as top and bottom. So they're going to go ahead, they're going to push into these towers, and they're going to go ahead and try and take out these wells, because that is the thing that controls the lane, as well as the fact that they have this hard camp with them. They can really push in hard. Genji uses his Dragon's Blade. Falstead does fly in. There is the gust back into the enemy team. Uther is getting just bodied by the laser. Li Ming does have a reset here, so she has another laser. She will get another reset from the kill on Dahaka as well. Titan's King did leave, so we are going to have another pause here really quick. We're going to go to our back screen. All right, and we're... Oop, got to turn off my little clock. So there's... looks like we're having some net problems currently. I will work on my webcam, try and get that up so I can jump to that instead of my Be Right Back screen. But it looks like they're going to be... we're potentially already going back in. There's an R. Okay. 3, 2, 1. And, alright, we are back into the game. So, they're going to go ahead and take this top camp. Meanwhile, though, in bottom, I do want to note, Vala did Hearth. Sonya did get this siege camp, and it looks like they might rotate into the bruiser camp in bottom to just try and push into this wave and do the exact same thing. But at the same time, Pandessl00ts are going to be capping this hard camp and trying to create a lot of top lane pressure, and it's going to force a couple of the members back. Falstead did use his Hearth to go back and get full, but he does have Flight, so he can go up into top. The Haka is starting to cap the point, but I do not know if anyone's in position. This is tense. Sonya's already there. Excuse me, I missed the Anub'arak kill, but I was hoping to see if this Vala actually caps the point. In bottom, they are not going to be able to get to this in time, and this will be a Dragonite on the side of ready button. So they're going to go ahead and take this into top lane. So Pandessl00ts, they definitely did a very good job of pushing in the waves, definitely getting the initial map control. But unfortunately, they did lose this first Dragonite. Granted, it is a 7-minute Dragonite. It's not going to do a whole lot. They might lose a well or a gate. But at this point, it looks like they're going to be chasing him back. Dragonite will be losing about half its health here. He will be just chased back. Take a quick peek into mid to make sure that we're going to see the stun onto the... Oh my god. The stun onto the Vala with the dash through definitely secures the kill. There is the orb from the Li Ming burning down the Nubarian armor. There is another route onto this Anub'arak. He is going to get body blocked by the Arthas for just 1 second. The Cocoon did come out, but they did have the follow-up damage, and that gives Li Ming another reset. That is a dragon falling in top. I wonder if Falstead's going to be able to chase this down for a kill. Titan's King is here for the lockdown and the slow. She does use the leap to get away, so there's good utility out of it. Li Ming does still have her Disintegrate, so she can get in position for it. She can definitely deal a significant amount of damage to this Sonya. I'm surprised by my own, like, I knew it was coming, but I'm still surprised myself. We are going to have this rotation out of Titan's King. The root actually just gets the foot of Vala. The D-Shield does come out and keeps her alive. There is the Raid of Vengeance from her trying to zone them back a little bit here, maybe get a stun and a couple shots from the cannons onto them, but it will not be happening. In bottom lane, though, we are going to be having this Rhaegar. The camp will be stolen away from him, but he will be capitalizing on the kill against Dahaka. So he probably rotated in as Dahaka was finishing that camp with low health, no essence, and he just got the couple auto attacks he needed. Genji will be sealing away this mid well. And it's definitely going to be something that is useful on the side of Pandessl00ts, because if they don't have anything to drink from, they got to go back for a little sip cup. Alright, well, while we're having this phase right before the Dragon Knight appears in a few seconds here, I was going to talk about talents, but never mind. We are having a leap from Sonya onto that backline. The Rhaegar is taking a ton of damage. The Rain of Vengeance has come out from Vala, but it anti-synergizes with the Cocoon. There is the defensive gust, but Sonya is still left behind, and that is going to be a kill onto her with a reset for the Li Ming. Genji does get his Blade Storm Dragon Blade into the enemy team, but Dahaka did try come in for a flank, but it's not going to be working out for him. He does have to pop adaptation, but it will not proc in time, so he will be falling as well. Uther is caught out from the enemy team. There is the root from the Arthas, and is there the follow-up damage? There is. That gives Li Ming another reset. She does have another Disintegrate at this point to pop onto the enemy team, and this is a huge fight for Pandessl00ts because of the fact that the altars did just spawn, so they can throw their Falstad into any lane, and he can just fly wherever he needs to go to capitalize on any of the points. Arthas will be rotating into top. Looks like they're going to be trying to push into this bottom gate as much as possible. Once Arthas is there, maybe Falstad will fly as Arthas is rotating into the Dragon Knight. That's a possibility. I don't know. I'm still like so hyped up from that last engagement. That was insane. They had so much damage onto that back line, but then it just that gust completely mitigated the entire fight by Ready Button, because of the fact that Sonya was left out by herself, so there was no one to heal her, no one to do any stuns and capitalize on the Li Ming or the Genji or anything. So, excuse me, unfortunately, ooh, there is the leap from the Sonya. It will be actually dodged by the Falstad, but this is the 4-man coming. There is Gust. They do blow them back, but Arthas is actually rotating in for the flank, and he will be caught out here. Does he have the Army of the Dead to get out? There's the D-Shield onto the Anubrak. I don't think he has another stun, but oh my god, this Arthas is living through this fight. They're turning this around. This Uther is going to be falling. Vala has already died as well. Anubrak is extremely low. Dahaka will be falling as well, and this is going to be a keep front gate falling. Potentially, bottom is going to be getting really low. I don't think Sonya can get a... Nope, this is going to be a keep falling in bottom as well. And it looks like they're just going to be pushing up mid. And at this point, they still have the Dragon Knight. It can be channeled at any point, so they're going to go ahead and put their Falstad in it. And it looks like with this 4-level lead, they can potentially rotate into bottom lane and go ahead and just core rush, because talent tier up, 4-level difference. This is going to be a hard defense on the side of Ready Button. Genji dashes forward, gets extremely... The leap onto the back line from the Sonya, but there is a Nubrak burrowing really far away. Oh, excuse me, he actually got kicked. That's my mistake. But he will be taking significant amount of damage from the enemy team. Genji is just dashing around, and this is what we were talking about, just Genji being a nuisance. If he has no reason to get away from you, if Genji has no reason to leave the fight, he can murder you. The GGs are thrown out, and that is going to be our second game going over to Pandessl00ts. Okay, and here we are going into Tomb of the Spider Queen, into our third match of the evening. I think this might be the last one. Typically they usually scrim in blocks from my understanding, so this one usually goes till about 7 p.m. Pacific, so 10 p.m. EST, but you never know. They could just say, you know what, screw it, we'll go for a fourth. But Tomb of the Spider Queen, alrighty. First pick going over to Ready Button here. And, sorry, I just want to check my messages, make sure that no one's telling me that I walked away for 4 minutes and missed it all. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Brandon, you did. You definitely did. You walked away for 4 minutes and you missed a whole lot. Alrighty, so first ban here, I would not be surprised to see Genji banned out here. The Genji in the last game, it's not something that I ever want to deal with. They're still going to actually ban out the Ariel. And I know Pandessl00ts love Cho'Gall. So it looks like they're just saying, you know what? We don't want to play Cho'Gall, so no thanks. No thanks at all. Or maybe it's just they know that the Ariel first game worked out so well that they just don't want to deal with it. But as we've seen, Zalchio is a phenomenal healer on what looks like almost any healer he's put on. So I'm curious to see what he's going to be playing this match. If there's going to be a Stukov priority on this map, because there's a lot of areas that there has to be narrow rotations through. And so Stukov would, in my opinion, be a priority on this map. So it looks like maybe that's why they're considering what they're going to try and ban out here. If they want to deal with the Stukov potentially themselves, or hopefully get it in their first pickup phase. But we are going to be in a couple seconds. My bet's going to be on Malthael, though. Boom. Nailed it. Hire me, Blizzard, please. That's all you need to do is just get one guess right, and you can get hired by Blizzard. Excuse me, I had to take a sip of water there. I'm muting my mic. Okay, so first picks here on the side of Ready Button. Their Uther has been a priority, and I'm curious to see if they're going to maybe move away from that, maybe into something that they want to prioritize for some sort of comp that they're going to build around. The Uther, not that they haven't been doing that, it's just Uther works well with a lot of comps, but I think if they try and actually build around a strategy, I feel like a lot of the stuff right now is very Uther centric, and I think you can strategize away from that. So Genji's actually going to be picked up here themselves, and that's what I was hoping for. I'm hoping that they weren't going to say, you know what, Uther's open, it's first pick. And this, I don't mean to be like super hypercritical. These guys are insanely better than me. Both teams are just phenomenal players. Like, I watch this stuff and I'm like, I could never. I would live through like an eighth of the stuff that goes on this on these matches. I'd just be dead for the entire time. I just spectate like I am already doing. So Genji's picked up here by Ready Button. He's a very strong hero just in the game period. Any map, just any comp, he just works pretty well in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised to see a priority on... I think Stukov's a priority in this map. And I want to say it's going to be Stitch's Stukov. But then again, Pandessl00ts, they just... Every time I try and predict what they're going to do, they literally just... It's like... It's not even like the same sport. Vala? Okay, so... Not even close. And Lucio. What? Lucio, really? If Zalchio heard me say, I wonder who they're going to put next, and he's just trying to flex right now, please, thank you. Because you're flexing so hard. Oh my god. All right, so we are going to be having the... Lucio picked up here. I haven't seen Lucio played. He's not a priority because he got... From mine, I don't play enough support to really just kind of dictate anything about the class, but from my understanding, he got nerfed into the ground a long time ago, or he just got nerfed to the point where there's just other people that are better than him, and so we're actually going to see the Anub'arak and the Uther picked up here on the side of, Ready Button, and that's actually quite terrifying, because the deflection from Genji can potentially mitigate the Vala, depending... And I doubt she'll go strafe, but there's still a possibility. I mean, if you know there's a Genji, you definitely don't want to take strafe because of the fact that he just sit there and deflect it, so you're doing damage to yourself or a teammate. But we are in our second ban phase here. So the Genji's picked up, so they have this closer Genji, and they're going to want to figure out someone who can deal the initial damage so that Genji can get in and close in. Gul'dan works very well in this map, as well as Kael'thas. Both of them are strong mages. Even Jaina's very good here, but I would think that you'd want to maybe ban out the Kael'thas or Gul'dan because you don't want to give them the... Okay, it's going to be the Li Ming. I should just try. I'll just tell you what I would ban out, and then they can ban out what they actually, what's probably actually correct. Tessler's going to be banned out here, and... Okay, I see why you... Okay. I was wondering, I was like, Tessler works very well, actually. And I was like, but there's stronger bans against the team, but if they're going to go ahead and just say, you know what? We got the Ariel gone, so you can't do Ariel Vala. Now we're going to do no Tassadar Vala. And that's actually very, very strong on Ready Button. I like that. It also provides vision for anything they can go for, because Zeratul is played on this map. He does work well because there are a lot of short rotations. Murden is going to be picked up here on the side of Pandessl00ts. So they've got ranged assassin, they've got their healer, they've got their tank-ish. I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of off-tank here, like a Sonya Dahaka. You still need another solo laner, though. Greymane wouldn't be a bad idea here. He's open. Curse Bullet onto a Nubrak is a significant amount of damage. Stukov is actually going to be picked up. Okay. How does Stukov work with this comp? Because the only thing that like anti-synergizes with him is the Lucio boop, but at the same time, it does synergize with him because if someone's getting off of the silence, he can just boop him back right onto it. Huh. That's interesting, because it looks at this point like their main damage is just going to be Vala, and they're just going to be playing around her. It's very similar to the comp that Ready Button ran last game. And I feel like with... I mean, Stukov does have really good lane clearing as well. Excuse me, I just punched my mic. I think that's gonna... No, that works out for their team. Last pick on the side of Ready Button. There's the Kael'thas and Diablo. Diablo is actually really strong here. I should note that. Diablo doesn't get played very often, in my opinion. Or enough. Actually, I should say enough. Diablo doesn't get played enough. But he works... Okay. Kerrigan, hi. I haven't seen you run in a long time. This is just throwing me for a complete loop. Oh, thank God you changed it to the cheerleader. I mean, how do you play... No, change it back. What I want to note about Diablo, though, is that Diablo has extremely good control in this map because of the fact that when I was talking about earlier about Stukov and having those tight quarters where he can put the silence down and having people having to rotate through that or zone them out with that is extremely strong. But Diablo is really good on this map because of the fact that he does those same, not the same kind of thing, but there's so many tight quarters that when he does this shadow charge into those, he gets the stun off the wall. And then you have the overpowers. There's just so much lockdown that you can get from the Diablo. He's very useful. So on the left-hand side, we are going to have Rexpa on Vala, Titans King on Murden, Veteran Wings on Veteran Wings on Kerrigan, Hedgie on Stukov, and Zalchio on Lucio. And I believe I actually updated this. I'm very sorry. I put 3, and I'm trying to change this really quick. Okay. It should only be 2. Not 32. Come on now. Okay, and then on the right-hand side, we're going to have to do this when we load in. I apologize. I switched it over, and I was like, wait, they didn't win 3 in a row already, did they? Okay. So, here we go. And on the right-hand side, we are going to have Ready Button with Diablo, or Varen on Diablo, Ender on Uther, Deneb on Anubarak, Stormy13 on Kael'thas, and Copious Girth on Genji. Quickly peeking at some of the talents here. Kael'thas, what are you going to do?
Battle begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
So I'm just trying to drink as much water before this game starts because I know I never get to drink any between. Alright, that's the one thing I wanted to see. Kael'thas did go Convection for this map. So he is going to be looking to get those 20 off. Titans King is going to get the finishing stun onto the Diablo. There is the stun and the silence onto the Kerrigan. The Chain Bomb will be killing her though. Unfortunately though, Anubarak will be falling here as well. There's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, benefiting Pandessl00ts here a little bit more. So solo lane wise, I wouldn't be surprised to see actually the Kerrigan going bottom. Nope, I lied. I'm surprised. I'm actually very surprised to see Stukov is going to be bottom. So maybe they listened to my last stream and I was saying poor Hedgie in top lane. They just said, all right, well, you know, Hedgie, you get to go to Tomb of the Spider Queen and sit in bottom lane. So we are going to see this 4-man rotation in top lane. Anubarak will be going up against Stukov in bottom. Lucio will be... Okay, now I see the Lucio. I see why Lucio. Lucio speeds up the rotations, so you can get to the lane faster. So you can literally just do the 4-man rotation, clear the wave, rotate faster. And so... Oh... I see you, Pandessl00ts. I see what you're doing. I get you. So we are going to be having them pushing into mid at this point. Kerrigan is going to be following up, and this should be the balance. It looks like they kind of push back their mid wave and their top wave, so at this point we are going to have a stun onto Uther. He is a little bit low here, so he should be... Oh, he's going to go ahead and tap well. Kael'thas actually getting one of his convection stacks denied because of the boop from Lucio. And back into the 4-man rotation, so we are going to be having ready up button playing safety. They do get the lockdown onto the Volley. She will be able to vault away, and there is going to be the split from the team, and ready up button, excuse me, ready button will not be able to confirm the kill that they need to get. Unfortunately, though, Diablo is getting extremely low here. Valo does rotate forward, vault forward, but she will be getting killed because of that. Genji was in the shadows there, so baited out by the Diablo. Checking into bottom lane. It looks like this is going to be... It looks like it's being won over by Anubarak, but at the same time, Stukov has very good wave clear, so... Stukov can just stand by the gate, clear out the wave, collect the gems, and then just back off. We are going to be having Lucio... Looks like he's going to be just zoning... Or not zoning top, collecting speed top, as well as having the rest of the team collect in mid. And these 4-man rotations are... They're kind of like delayed. It seems like they're doing it, but at the same time they're not. I'm very unsure. Lucio is getting in here at this point. There is the pull from Kerrigan. There is the follow-up from Kael'thas trying to get some of the damage onto these members, but it is not going to be working out for them. Diablo will be falling, and he doesn't have enough souls, so he will be doing the full death timer currently. Checking into Kael'thas, he does have 4 stacks of his convection currently. Stukov is starting to work through his level 4 pustule talent. A vigorous uptake. There's a lockdown from... Excuse me. There's a lockdown from not Kael'thas. Onto Kael'thas from the Kerrigan and the Murden, but it will not be yielding a kill for them on this side of Pandessl00ts. Alright, so while we have this just rotations before this first turn-in phase, let's talk about some of these talents. Actually, no, let's not, because we are going to have engaged. Kael'thas will be getting... I guess that's the way to just trigger a fight, is I have to talk about talents, because that was happening all last night. Genji is going to be going to bait them away, but it looks like he's going to dash forward and be getting out safe. At this point, with 24 gems left on the side of Pandessl00ts, it looks like they will be aiming to turn in here. At the same time, though, ready up button, they do have enough for turn themselves, so... They can potentially sneak that into bottom if they do not make the rotations anymore. Genji will have to back because he only has a sliver of health. And with that back that they're gonna have to do, that gives the free turn in for Pandessl00ts, and it looks like we are going to be going into a short little break here while we fix some connectivity issues. Looks like, all right, so. You can't see it, but I can, so I can make up numbers here. Just taking a peek at some of these numbers. Stukov is already doing 16,000 siege damage. Kael'thas, who's not in bottom, has done, with just the rotations, has done 15,000. So it just puts it in perspective. One guy sitting in bottom has done about he's done more than the guy who's actually been rotating 2 lanes. Like that's just insanity to me. Looks like we're going to have a player who just dropped off. So we're gonna throw the music on really quick. I'm gonna try and take drink a little bit of water when I have a little bit of downtime, and I will try and come back before they do the 3, 2, 1. All right, and I'm seeing ours already being thrown out. And we already back in the game, excuse me. There's no 3, 2, 1. They're just talking about their first experiences, by the way, so enjoy that. So we are going to be having a stun onto the Diablo, who will be able to just walk away from that. There's no follow-up damage onto him. With that, though, we were just talking about beforehand that there was the web weaver turn in for Pandessl00ts, so they will be having that pushing up the top, mid, and bottom. A little bit of damage coming out onto this Diablo. Genji is falling quite low here himself. So then the Spider Wave will be pushing up here. Murden does actually hop over the gate, but the gate is burned down right away, so he does get the stun onto the Diablo, which will confirm the kill onto him and the Genji. And this is going to be a very strong push into mid. Looks like he misclicked. So with that though, that's going to be Uther falling as well. I was about to talk about how the way that they're pressuring this is extremely strong on the side of Pandessl00ts because of the fact that they're pushing in mid and they're forcing the team to respond to it. If they don't, then they're going to be sacrificing more than just this fort. But at the same time, they're going to be losing this top front gate, and well, because of the fact that they can't respond because the team, because Pandessl00ts are there pushing in their mid. So now they're going to rotate up into the enemy team. They're going to rotate into the enemy team, and that is going to cause them to just, they're going to delay this a little bit, so then mid is going to get pushed up a little bit more. And Murden actually rotated into bottom during this to confirm the fort down there as well. So very good rotations coming out from the Pandessl00ts, and at the same time, a very good defense from Ready Up Button. I don't know why I see Ready Up Button, but probably because in this game you ready up, but there is actually going to be this collapse onto Titan's King. He will actually get flipped, and he will, with that flip, actually be able to hop over the wall. But Genji, as I said in the last game, he's so sticky, you're not going to get away from him. So it looks like we're going to be losing 16 gems on the side of Pandessl00ts, which will unfortunately delay them from turning in once again. They're going to be about 10 short, but that's only a couple minion waves that they can get that back. 3, I think. It's 5 or it's 6 per wave, so still 3. But on the side of Ready Button, this gives them the advantage to, without that Murden there, they can definitely push up these waves a little bit, get some of these gems. The Kerrigan combo locks them down as well. Into that silence is so strong. We are now having, though, an engagement onto the Diablo. Okay. Every time I hold my breath because he was so close to dying, there is the actual reverse amp from Lucio, which will be providing a little bit of just zoning from the enemy team just to keep them back, because they were a 4-man pushing into a 5-man, but at the same time, the Diablo was quite low himself. We are going to be seeing Anubarak rotating into bottom lane to push that out a little bit. They do, I believe, have enough for turn in here. They're going to be too short, which is just at this point just a minion wave to them, and they can actually push into this tower as well. On the side of Ready Button, though, they're going to be getting this hard camp, which is going to give them the opportunity to push up this mid. Definitely gets them closer to the 10 that they need, so they can actually start to take a team fight before that 13 is got by Pandessl00ts. Alrighty, and with this second Web Weaver phase going over to Pandessl00ts, we are going to be seeing a rotation back into mid by the 3 members and in bottom by the 2 members, Stukov and Muradin. Gonna go ahead and push up that bottom. Meanwhile, in mid, we're gonna have the wave cleared by some of the other members, and I was wondering why Kerrigan was moving so weird. They fixed the Raptor mount, so it's just I have not seen it actually in play yet. Genji actually uses the Divine Shield and the Dragon's Blade. He is on to this Lucio, who is actually going to get Pyroblasted, and unfortunately there's no way to save him. They have no way of just protecting him, no Ariel, and this is actually Titans King dipping into that backline where they're trying to get away, and there's so many members low, so the Pyroblast was there to take out the healer, but at the same time Stukov rotated up and there was enough healing from him to keep the team alive, and with this Webweaver phase they got a huge advantage on their side, so it looks like they're going to be trying to... I don't think they have the mana or health to go ahead and take this. They're going to wait for the Webweaver. Diablo is going to be Hearthing back. He wants to save his 30 gems, make sure he has full health. And they are actually 3v5 currently. Muradin might have an out. He doesn't have Avatar. There is the huge push from the Stukov. I forgot about that completely, and the massive shove from Stukov is just always so funny to watch. While we have this disengagement though, let's just take a quick peek. Kael'thas is still at 4 stacks of Convection because of the couple kills that they've got. And Genji looks like he's just going to be finishing up his Shuriken very soon. The reverse amp is there. There is the push, the massive shove from Stukov. It semi-anti-synergizes, but it definitely zones them away to the point where they really want to get this keep, but it does not look like it will be in their future. Or current, at least it won't be happening just yet. So it looks like we are going to be having them rotate into bottom, as well as at this point, ready up button. They're going to be wanting to try as hard as they can to get close to 13 and get into that 13 and try and turn in themselves. They still have enough for turn in. They only need to get, looks like they need to get their Diablo, Uther, and Kael'thas to turn in and have the Nubarak zone some of the members away. Actually, mostly just Diablo and probably Kael'thas can turn in. But there is the zoning here on the side of Pandessl00ts. There is another Pyroblast that goes right onto the Val. There is not enough damage to kill her, though. Genji does get the D-Shield, and he has his Dragon Blade, but he's falling so low. Kael'thas is falling as well. He will be losing all those Convection stacks. Genji is going to be falling also. The massive shove zones the Anubarak away. He does burrow through the wall, but he is onto the backline. They can turn around onto him. Looks like the Vala will be doing that. Meanwhile... looks like Muradin's going to be going in for the flank on the retreat. There is the boop in the wall, and that will be a dead bug. So at this point, we are going to be having ready button turtling up, trying to play as safe as possible, trying to defend their keep. They have the Kael'thas, which is spawned here, so they can throw out a little bit of damage. Maybe save this keep a little bit. And it looks like they're just going to be staying behind. They know that it's a dead keep at this point. Okay, so we go into this next phase of the map. We have 13s for Ready Button and 16s for Pandessl00ts, and it looks like they will be having an aggressive posturing on this at this point in the game. They have the talent tier advantage. There's a 3-level difference, so they're definitely going to be trying to push in here as hard as possible. Diablo does go in for Shadow Charge. He does not have any fallout damage. There is the massive shove from the Stukov. Reverse amp is out. There is the cocoon onto one of the members of Pandessl00ts. Rexpa does get out. He will be going on to that Genji to zone him away. There is the pull in from Kerrigan, but the pushback from the Lucio will actually save Diablo for now. He does go in. The Apocalypse is out. We are seeing a Nubarak starting to fall here. Diablo does have 47 gems, and he'll be falling himself. There is... Titans King is trying to avoid the Pyroblast by hopping at the last second, but it will not work out for him. Diablo did respawn right away. He will be getting... I'm so sorry, Diablo. I thought he was going to be getting the counter kill, but it looks like Titans King will be living through that, and this is going to be a core falling. GGs are called, and this is going to be Game 3 going over to Pandessl00ts. I guess not. Never mind. We are going to have the Genji and the Vala falling here. At this point, there is the web wrap out onto one of the members of Pandessl00ts. They're going to go ahead and just let that kind of take its time. Kerrigan will get that final hit in, and that is GG. Got him is called out from Diablo. Alrighty, and they are burning through these things. Alright, we are back into our fourth and final match of the evening. I need to set up the next screen really quick. Alrighty, and there we go. Cool. So, in our draft phase here, we are going into Cursed Hollow. Band-wise, I'm trying to think what they want to maybe ban out here. They have let through the Anubarak through every time. It doesn't seem like it's been an issue to deal with, but I wonder if they're going to try and take away that cocoon potential. As well as, hold on, first off, let's not even talk about what people have been playing. Let's talk about the fact that this is Cursed Hollow, and Dahaka is a priority in this map, and Dahaka probably should be banned out. Okay, sorry, I was just reading chat. I was just reading through messages from someone just to make sure. So Dahaka is going to be banned out here, and this is what I was talking about. Dahaka is so useful on this map. The global threat that he provides is so strong for the lane pushing that you can do, as well as just the response time that you can get from Dahaka. So if you're in top lane, the curse is in bottom, your team has to rotate into that lane to go get the curse point, whereas Dahaka can literally wait till it spawns, burrow, he's there, done. So every 45 seconds, he's somewhere on the map. And that's a terrifying aspect to have. So you know what? Pandessl00ts are going to say, we're done with it, we're not going to have it. You can go ahead and just ban that out. We don't want to deal with it. So they're going to be taking their first pickup here. The Stukov they had last game was extremely strong. I would not be surprised to see that come up once again here. But I don't know if they're going to prioritize it as first pick. Last game, it looks like they went... well, they didn't have first pick, so they actually went second pick, and they had the Vala and Lucio, which worked out for them quite well. But with this first pick here, I'm wondering what they're going to be going into. Something solid would be easy, just like if you go for the Stitches, that's just an easy pickup here. And it doesn't really show where you plan to go with your draft. So they're going to go ahead and actually take the Anubarak away from Ready Up. Not Ready Up. Ready Button. I got to make a note in front of me. They're going to take away the Anubarak from Ready Button, and that is actually going to be... I'm interested about that because the fact that I was saying earlier, they've had Anubarak in almost every game, so taking it away, I'm curious to see what they're going to be putting... I think it's Denbui. I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel so bad for mispronouncing your name. But he's been on Anubarak, or they've been on Anubarak this entire time, so I'm wondering what they're going to be playing this game now that they're not going to be having that pick themselves. Okay, so we are going to be seeing the Greymane and the Uther picked up here on the side of Ready Button. And I like that. That's definitely a good combo to roll together.
To my last breath.
We're going to have the Rhaegar picked up here. Huh. I'm trying to think what's going to work well with this. And Ariel's still open, so if they wanted to do the Vala-Ariel combo, they could. And I don't think this is going to be a Vala. I feel like this is going to be a Lunara because they're going to save their melee for their second phase. Well, I said Lunara, Range Assassin, False Dead. I was pretty close. I'm just gonna pat my own back there. So we are going into our second ban phase at this point, after patting my own back vigorously. So we are going to have a ban for Ready Button, so they can go ahead and try and target ban something out from the from Pandessl00ts, but that's going to be really difficult for them because of the fact that they've been really rotating their drafts quite vigorously. On the side of Ready Button, we've seen a lot of common themes. We've seen, at this point, we've seen the Greymane twice. We've seen the Uther a bunch of times. We've seen a Nubrak multiple times. So it's difficult to ban out against Pandessl00ts because it looks like they're just rotating their players on so many different heroes. And so the Stukov ban definitely I think they're just banning out because last game it was just such a good utility because there were so many engagements where I think that if the massive shove wasn't there in that last game, I think there might have been a couple times when Pandessl00ts might have been in a tough situation. It's definitely going to be difficult for them to... It would have been difficult for them to have those engagements and not have that massive shove because there was a lot of times when like a Nubrak or Diablo were pushed away and that was either a stun or just some sort of peel that they just mitigated right away with that massive shove. So a smart ban on the side of Ready Button, not Ready Up Button, on Ready Button. And so it's just going to get to talk about yours. So they're going to go ahead and ban out Arthas, who's extremely strong, but that does leave the Stitches open. And Stitches on this map does provide a decent amount of CC because of the fact that if you hook into stun and then you have to die from the Greymane, that is a terrifying combo. And they've run Sonya a couple times, and Sonya wouldn't be bad here. So like a Sonya Stitches pickup for the... And I doubt you'd see... I doubt it, but it's a possibility. You could do the Greymane, so you could have a hook into a stun from Uther, into a leap from Sonya with the curse bullet somewhere in there. And you could just annihilate a hero so long as they don't get away. But actually, the Angel Bros are going to be hanging out this match, and we're going to be having Malthael and Tyrael picked up here. And Tyrael, one of the things that I personally always forget to talk about is boss control on this map. This is the...
My hatred is such a cold decision.
Okay, I was going to talk about how there's two bosses on this map and how Braxis is the other one with... Or not Braxis, excuse me. Warhead Junkson's the other one with two bosses. But what? We're going to do the Illidan Abathur? I mean, it's a... I
play to win.
Okay, this draft is just... This is awesome. This is such a strong draft on the side for both teams because of the fact that Abathur is such a strong hero on this map. Falstead with the global is extremely strong. There is no global response though from Ready Button, so I'm curious to see how they're going to be able to deal with the XP soak and advantage that they're going to be getting on the side of Pandessl00ts. But at the same time, Ready Button has a really solid comp, and they've got a lot of damage. And a lot of scary damage, too. The Malthael follow-up with the Uther stuns and the Greymane dive. And the zoning you get from the Tyrael is so strong. So, on the left-hand side, we are going to have Pandessl00ts with Rexpa on Falstead, Titan's King on Anubarak, Veteran Wings on Illidan, Hedgie on Abathur, and Zalchio on Rhaegar. On the right-hand side, we are going to have Ready Button with Varen on Malthael, Copious Girth on Diva, Deneb on Tyrael, Ender on Uther, and Stormy13 on Greymane. Abathur, wow. That's interesting. I'm really interested to see, because it's such an...
Prepare yourself for battle.
I feel like this is such an old comp, like... This isn't a very... Like, there's, like, meta things to draft on maps, and, like, I feel like I saw this some point early last season before all of these different heroes and changes have come into the game. And that's what Pandessl00ts draft looks like. But on the right-hand side, Ready Up, they look like they have more of, like, a modernized draft.
10 seconds.
There we go. They have just, like, a more modern draft. They have the Malthael, they have the Diva, and... The Diva's going to be very difficult to deal with. I didn't get to talk about this in draft, but she's going to be really good asset for zoning and poking, especially post 10 with whatever she ends up going into. I mean, the slows that you get from Bunny Hop or the recharge rate or damage you get from Pew Pew is extremely strong as well. Alrighty. So one of the things that I was watching ACC today, and I noticed one of the casters talking about, and this is one thing that I actually wanted to mention on my own stream also. They were talking about like, oh yeah, you can tell where what lane Abathur's actually in on the map based on how long the Locusts actually have been up for, because there's a little timer underneath their health bar. And I heard that sentence and I was like, I've been playing this game for 2 years and I've never thought of just making that connection. Just like, oh yeah, Abathur's Locusts have timers on them, and I could just watch and see how long it's already been to see how far back in lane he is. Like, if it's very, very low on a timer, then he's obviously right behind the gate, as you can see right here. So, it was just a little like thing I heard today, and I was like, that's definitely some viable information that people need to know about. But we are actually going to be, I'm so sorry about that, we are actually going to have Illidan falling in a different lane, but in bottom, there was just these guys pushing in so hard. I was wondering to see if they're going to push this Abathur back. He will be actually rotating into top lane. Malthael is up there, and he is probably the one who got the pick onto the Illidan, if I'm not mistaken. But Abathur will be rotating up there to get that body soak onto those minion waves. There is the stun out from Anubarak onto the Tyrael, who looks like he will be throwing his Eldruin's Might into the minion wave. Will he hit that Q once more? No, he'll let that go. Okay. So we are going to be having a huge stun out from Anubarak. In mid, we are actually having the D.Va being pushed back by Rexpa on the Falstead. I just realized that Rexpa and Hedgie played Falstead last time, and now he's on Abathur. So there's some flex on this team. they're definitely flexing tonight. They're showing off what they can play and what they can put different people on. There's actually this extremely aggressive rotation from Pandessl00ts onto this hard camp. I guess there is the expected timing for this that you can just assume. And so they just assumed, alright, well, it's 2:20, let's go check the enemy camp. And they actually are going to be getting 2 kills out of this before the curse even pops. And Malthael's going to be on this top, but Illidan will be hopping onto him. Expect the Abathur hat to be popping off any second. There it is. Malthael will not be able to get away. Will Illidan? No, actually, Abathur, excuse me. Abathur gets the credit for that one. And we're actually going to be seeing Abathur coming out into lane, body soaking a little bit here. And definitely, I was talking to someone recently about this. I was like, why do Abathurs do this? Like, I've played Abathur and I always go like, I don't want anyone to know where I am. And they were saying that there's this whole mentality is like, if you see Abathur, you're just like, in your head, you just want to kill him. So it's a mind game that you can play with against your enemy team. So keep that in mind when you play Abathur also. You can rotate in some of the lanes, show yourself, and definitely people will get a little bloodlusty around you. So it looks like Abathur will be going back into bottom lane. We're going to be having Anubarak in mid, just cleaning us up. Falstead will be going up against the Greymane. I was just about to go up there. Thank you. All right. So Greymane's actually going to get picked off by the Falstead, and this is going to be a huge push in top. But unfortunately, the curse point is up here in this lane, so we are going to have a rotation from the enemy team. They will be able to clear this up. The most they're going to lose is just the gate wall. They will keep their well. So Falstead, and it looks like Pandessl00ts are already here and zoning out, making sure that they can get this one. So, just doing a little map math here. The first one was in this top middle. The second one was in this top left. So the next one, to be expected, is going to be in this bottom left-hand position. Checking into this mid-engage, we are actually going to have Illidan trying to get onto that D.Va, but it will not work out for him. So he's going to have to back off, not get the D.Va kills. She was extremely low there, but she got her mech down in time. And it works on the same principle as Abathur at that point, because the fact that D.Va's out of her mech, she can definitely be a target and someone that you want to kill because she's so low health. I think like even like post 20, she's around like 2,000 health, I think. With this gate falling here, Abathur will be starting to play a little bit further behind the gate just to see if someone tries to rotate past and get a pick on him. It's not going to be happening. We're actually going to be seeing this 5-minute boss pick up here from Rhaegar and Illidan. That's interesting. Because I would assume that you would know that the next curse point's coming here, so I guess you can get this boss and then rotate into the curse. I'm just trying to think, like, why wouldn't you just take the enemy boss and have that push up? You'd make a later rotation and you'd give up the curse, but you'd have a boss, and it looks like they're actually giving up the curse currently. Titan King will be poking as best he can with that Abathur hat. They are going to be collecting the boss, so Illidan should be rotating in. Rhaegar is going to have to go ahead and get a little bit of health and mana. He did take a little bit of damage there, and it looks like they're going to go ahead, get that curse point, and deny the curse for Pandessl00ts. So the boss, unfortunately, will not be getting the value that I think that they were expecting. I think the boss was supposed to be timed out with the curse, so that way it pushed up, and that way you can maximize the value for Abathur and top. But with that, at the same time, we're going to see the dive from Illidan onto the Malthael, who will be falling here, though Greymane is also being dived upon. He is going to be getting extremely low. The clone from Abathur is here, and there are 2 Illidans, so now we have an Illidan diving onto this Uther, and there's actually the second Illidan who's going to hunt right in, so Hunt is actually picked up. Let's talk about some of these talents. So we have Gust, Clone, Hunt, Ancestral, and Anubarak is holding, but you can only assume it's going to be Cocoon. They're going to Cocoon the Diva when she's out of the mech. They're going to blow up upon her before she can get back into it, so that way they can really capitalize on getting that kill. And so we are going to be having another curse coming out here. And this is definitely going to be a point on the side of Pandessl00ts. They have the zoning, they have the 10s. There's really not much that Ready Button can do to kind of contest this. They can maybe try and get a pick, slow them down, but it's unfortunately not going to be working out in that factor for them. The hunt is in from Illidan. He comes around that wall really awkwardly. I don't know if you saw that. And so he will be trying to get really sticky onto the Screaming. He will have to back off, get a little bit of healing from his Uther. Excuse me, not his Uther, from his Rhaegar. The Fawcett does fly ahead. There is the Gust back into the team. Is there the follow-up stun from Anubarak? The Hammering goes out and hits all 3 members. The damage that they are getting from the Falstead. Did he take Boomerang? Yes, he did. So he probably boomed that exactly on the middle of those 3 members. And at this point, with this first curse, they are going to be pushing onto a keep. 7 minutes and 35 seconds in, they are going to be taking keep during their first curse point. Checking into the top lane once again. Hedgie will be just sticking in top and pushing up that wave. So they will be confirming that tower. There is the explosion from Diva. They do try and slow them down to keep them in it. There is the clone from Hedgie onto the Illidan. Trying to get onto that Greymane, just really being a nuisance, delaying them so that the rotation from Pandessl00ts can be obtained successfully and safely without having to take any damage or any sort of losses in the kills. But we are going to see... That Malthael just took so much damage, and it's definitely something to worry about. This Falstad is scaling insanely, and he's only halfway through his stacks. But at this point, they're going to take... Okay, so they're just going to be looking for vision. I was like, this is very aggressive on the side of Ready Button to go ahead and try and take a boss with 3 levels down in the talent tier. But at this point, they're just checking. They're making rotations. They're playing extremely safe. They want to get close to 13. At this point, there is a... Excuse me. There is a long... timing between the curses at this point. It randomizes, but there is, I know, a longer pause in between the curse actually taking effect on map and just curse points. So we actually going to have Falstad going into the Giant Killer at 13, which is going to be extremely useful against the Tyrael in the late game. Excuse me. Greymane did finish his questing talent. Uther is just about done with his. Malthael's getting close as well. But we are going to be having an invade, and it looks like they're going to be trying to go ahead and get this. We do have the boss control from the Falstad with the Gust. Malthael did try to get to that backline, but he actually accidentally put himself out of position. There is the sanctification from the Tyrael onto the majority of the members. There are a lot of members on the side of Pandessl00ts that are falling very low. Titan's King does get away from the team, but he is peeling himself. That will be the Falstad falling himself, but the D-Shield just ends on the Greymane, so that will be the Greymane falling. This is a 1-for-1 kill at this point. We are having the Illidan getting really, really sticky onto this Diva. Is she going to be able to get the mech in time? She will not, and she will be falling herself. This is the Uther going to be falling too. Will he have the heals for the Malthael? But that will not happen, and Tyrael will also die. And with the split from the team and that burrow, they will not be able to get any benefit from the trait from Tyrael. And 16 to 12, we are having a boss pushing up onto this second keep of the game. Hard camp gotten by Illidan and Rexar, or not Rexar, excuse me, Rhaegar. The other orc, you know? So they're going to go ahead and confirm this keep. Titan's King will get the stun. He should have the burrow. He won't show his teammate, potentially. There is actually a hunt from the Illidan, so the camp actually then latches onto Titan's King. And this is extreme. The way that they're playing this is just methodical. It's so creepy. Falstad actually does already fly in, so they're going to go ahead to get this camp. Falstad does use the Gust to confirm the camp, push them into the wall. He does barrel roll behind the wall. They will play safe here. Titan's King is going to push himself forward. D.Va is getting zoned out here. She will use her explosion. Does she get any members? She will not be getting any members with that, but she does get right into her mech just as the Illidan is about to kill her, but there's the body blocks from his dashboard. She will be losing her mech here, and she does not have the call down right away, so she will be dying as well. Malthea does use his Tormented Shoals with the D-Shield, so this is taking extreme amount of damage from the enemy, on the enemy team, Pandessl00ts, but they will be not falling here. They're just not dying. Malthea with the D-Shield and the Tormented Souls is 3v1ing and staying alive, but it's almost actually 4v1ing because there was an Abathur hat the entire time too. Whew! What a just engagement. And with that, we are going to have another objective popping in the top mid. So at this point, we had one pop in the top right, top mid. So I do believe it's going to cycle again at this point. We are going to be having Abathur Hearthing in the middle of lane, just being very aggressive. We are going to have the Illidan copy onto the Greymane, and there is actually the hunt onto him, but there is the Sanctification and the bunny hop to slow down many of the members. The Rhaegar is falling so low, the Gust to disengage, and they are going to be able to save many of the members here. Whew. And they come out of that with a Rhaegar kill, and in the meantime, I just want to point out, there were catapults on Ready Button's core. So with that, they are going to take the core down to 46%, and at this point, they're just playing the macro game so hard. And it's macro micro because they're literally forcing team fights so that way they can't de-push their lanes. Because if you don't respond to these fights, then there is no way you can de-push the wave, and then it's just going to push up onto your core, and then you're going to lose the game because you let catapults just sit there on your core. So it's this conundrum. It's like, how do you respond to this? And this is part of the draft as well. This is where I got so excited about Abathur on this map, and he has so much control, he has so much utility that he can just push up waves. And as you're fighting, yeah, he's hatting you, and he's spawning a Locust every, I think, 15 seconds. There is the hunt from the Illidan. There is a flight from the Falstad expected Gust back into the enemy team after the bomb ends. Actually, they're going to be pushing them into the corner here. There is a kill onto the Illidan, actually, so this is a counter kill. This is starting to swing into the favor of Ready Button, but they will actually be losing their Greymane, so that's going to be a 2-for-1 kill. Ready Button is still winning this engagement. They actually drop the Rhaegar as well, and the Falstad, so only Abathur is currently alive. It is just a copy as well. So they will be killing that, but at the same time, we are going to be having a boss pushing onto the core. So they did lose all their members. The Abathur's the only one alive, but this is a boss slowly melting the shield here. They should be able to kill it before it really takes away too much. They will be taking away a small... Oh my god, actually. That's going to be the boss winning the game. Okay. That was not what I expected at all. I was thinking they could burn it down quick enough, but it looks like Uther actually also went to bottom. I just have to point out that Abathur dug to the core. Abathur was the only one on Pandessl00ts who made it to the core.